Hi, I'm Peter Cook. Welcome to ThoughtLeadersStudio.com. I'm going to talk about being a white belt. White belt is the first level in the $1 Million Expert revenue stages. So $1 Million Expert is a program that we run at Thought Leaders about building a $1 million practice around your thought leadership. And there are different stages, different revenue stages on the way from starting to the $1 million. And the first one is white belt. So if you can picture these different stages, white belt equates to $10,000 a month, which is of course $120,000 a year. There's then yellow belt, $20,000 a month is $240,000 a year, green belt, blue belt, red belt, up to black belt, which is $60,000 a month, $720,000 a year. And there's a few more above that. But what we're talking about today is the first level, which is a white belt, and what to focus on specifically at that level to get you to the next level, being a yellow belt. So white belt, the focus is decisions, and there's 5 key decisions that I want to talk about, and then 1 bonus decision after that. The first decision is decide on your market and communicate to that market. Now, paradoxically, the narrower your market is, the better. We tend to think intuitively, cast the net wide and we'll gather more fish, and especially when we're starting out and we think, I don't want to exclude anyone. But it actually works the other way. The narrower your market is, the more effective your marketing is. And I've heard a great saying, can't remember who told me, but I stole it and I've used it for a long time. Market narrowly, deliver broadly. So what that means is you can deliver to people who you're not marketing to, but narrow your marketing in. So for example, I run a program called the Money Workshop, and my target market is Gen X. You know, I'm a Gen X are my people, that's my target market. When I'm out saying what I do, I say, I teach Gen Xers, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. However, a baby boomer comes along to my workshop, no problem, I sign them up. Gen Y comes along, fine. I deliver broadly, but I market narrowly, and the narrower the better. Decision 2 is decide on one message and communicate that message. So when you're a black belt, you can have a whole lot of different messages. When you're a black belt in the martial art, you know a whole lot of different punches, you know a whole lot of different kicks, you can dance with the situation. But when you're a white belt, you just learn the one thing. So, you know, when you start a martial art, it's just like one punch, one message. You just keep delivering that one message until you've nailed it, until you're effective at that. And how you know when that is when you get to yellow belt. That's when you'll introduce the second. So my message for the Money Workshop is I'll show you how to retire 10 years earlier. 7 steps to reaching financial independence. Now, I'm a thought leader, so I have lots of different thoughts going on and lots of other things I could think about. And the temptation is to get bored with the one message and think, no, I'll talk about psychology of money today, I'll talk about investing theory tomorrow. At white belt, it's time to be disciplined, decide on your one message and keep delivering that message to the market you've decided to communicate with. Third decision is decide on a minimum income level and measure yourself against that level. So because we're focusing on going from white belt to yellow belt, which is going up to $20,000 a month, the income level I recommend is $1,000 a day. So if we're looking for $20,000 a month, 20 working days in a month, that means $1,000 a day or $5,000 a week. And there's two places we need to measure that. One is our sales and one is our delivery. So what I recommend is each week, at the end of the week you go, did I sell 5 grand? Yes or no? And did I deliver 5 grand? Yes or no? And by the time you get to yellow belt, it needs to be yes and yes for both of those. Fourth decision is eliminate your low value work, which ties into what we're saying about the minimum income level. So when I was I still am a business coach, but I went fairly quickly from $150 an hour to $500 an hour for my business coaching. And at $150 an hour, there isn't really any way I can get $1,000 a day. I can't actually sell and deliver that much coaching in a day. And so part of the decision was moving my price point up, but I also then had to decide to eliminate the work I was doing at the lower rate. if that was still happening, it confuses the message and doesn't value my time appropriately for where I'm going. So I eliminated that. I had to, talk to those clients. There's a temptation to keep doing that as well and sort of keep trying to do everything, and that isn't strategic. Peter Drucker says the key to strategy is omission, and this is really a key, the point of omitting the things that are low value and being highly dollar productive. The fifth decision is decide to enhance your database. So I've had a business coaching practice for 10 years now, and if I could go back 10 years and give myself 10 years ago some advice, and I could only give myself one piece of advice in my coaching practice, it would be this. It would be start and maintain a database. I wish that all the people I've met over the last 10 years I still had in a database and I had a relationship with. So right now, today, start a database if you haven't got one, and if you do, keep enhancing it. There's some really easy ways to do this. A couple of very cost-effective places. Go to batchbook.com, I think at $9 a month you can start with there. HighRiseHQ.com, they have a free version for up to 250 contacts. Start religiously entering the people you meet into your database and then maintaining the relationship. So those were the 5. Decide on a market and communicate with that market. Decide on one message and keep delivering that one message to that market. 3, decide on your minimum income level and measure yourself against that level. Decision 4, eliminate low value work that you're doing. And decision 5, create and enhance your database. And I now want to offer you a 6th bonus decision, and that's the decision to go to black belt. So even though we're at white belt level, we can, in here and in here, decide where we're going as black belt. So I've actually got a black belt in Aikido. I'm a 2nd Dan in Aikido, working towards my 3rd Dan at the moment. And when I started Aikido, I remember very clearly, I heard that out of 200 people who start, 1 person makes it to black belt. And I made a very clear decision that that was going to be me. I was going to be the 1 in 200 that made it to black belt. And it was that decision that had me get out of bed at 5:30 on cold mornings and go down to the dojo for a 6 o'clock middle of winter training class. And that's what it took to actually get me there. And if I hadn't made that decision, it would have been very easy to stay inside in a warm bed. So my invitation is to make that 6th decision and decide to be a black belt. Still focus on the white belt activities, but you'll be a much more effective, much more powerful white belt, knowing that you're a black belt in training. Thank you very much for your time.